Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. Welcome to another time out here. Another time in other book club. That's what we got to do on Sundays. We've been reading through a book, featured book, Cleopatra's Riches, and that's what we've been reading for the last that's 15 weeks. So that works out to we're in the fourth month right now, and we have we're 12 chapters today, so we have 8 more chapters to go. That's approximately 2 more months to go. So that takes us August, September. So sometime end of September, beginning of October, we should be done with this. And I have the next book we're going to be reading. Our next featured bird is Bethany Frankel. Business is personal. You know, I'm a businessman and I love business. I like talking business as much as I love money. You know, so that's what we're going to read next, starting about the first week and second week in October. So if you want to read along with us, get a copy of yours and let's come read along together and just share with one another knowledge, experience, and grow together. That's the whole idea of doing this. You know, the more I talk about it, the more I talk to myself. You know, that's the beauty of talking, right? Nothing is lost, even though I already know it. But I got to remind myself of the principles I already know. So I get a benefit from doing this. It's I read the book, I learn more, and I kind of turn my experience over with what I'm learning from each author, you know, and I'm getting better. And I just hope you're getting better also. That's the whole essence of doing this. It's for me to grow. And I just wanted to share that growth with you, hoping that you're also growing, you're learning something. You have to pick one or two things from all of this. That's the whole idea, you know. But if I was the only person, I'm doing good. All righty. Let me bring up my slides here and we'll go into chapter 12. All righty. So where I have two slides open. So maybe I should first of all close one of them. Let me close one of them to avoid a confusion here. All right, I'm probably gonna pick one. Right, did I pick the right one? Yes, I picked the right one. So that's good enough. Let's stick with this. All right, that's the book we're on, Cleopatra Riches, right? That's what we're on to. And again, Marta has that website where she provides additional resource, you know, something you can bless yourself with, you know, see what you can learn from those resources she has there on that web page, martaadamsmedia.com resources, right? That would help you. You know, want to get everything. It's no use getting just some from her. Get everything she has to offer. All right. So chapter 12 is pretty much just talking about how society affects our enjoying money. You know, enjoying money it's the enjoying money and growing money are the positive aspects that Marta brings to bear from what will be like our common relationship to money, right? She came from talking about the model where we just earn and spend. And hoping that there will be money remaining for us, right? And that's kind of negative because, you know, nobody really wants their money to get depleted. You know, that's why we'll pray for some people and say, hey, your hand will not get to the bottom of your pocket. You know, that's a prayer that there's always going to be money in your pocket, right? If all we're doing is earning and spending, then that is not guaranteed. That also locks us up in that we cannot retire, because our ability to truly retire is that money, we're not just working for money, but money is working for us. Until we can make money while sleeping, we cannot truly retire, right? We need to always be there to make money because we need that money to meet our expense, right? To pay our bills. But the whole idea, a relationship with money is such that you start working for money and you start putting that money to use such that that money begins to work for you. The place where we talk about financial independence, financial freedom, is that place where your money is working enough for you to pay all your bills, right? Then you can start working for fun. I mean, you never get to a place where you don't work, because if you don't work, you begin to depreciate. We're made to work. We're made to exercise ourselves, right? So if you don't use your brain, if you don't use your intellect, right, then it's going to depreciate. It's called the law of use. But you don't have to use it because of out of compulsion, right? You can use it out of a place of leisure, out of a place of volunteering. It's not because you have your bills unpaid, or someone is crying after you, right? But until you truly have money working for you enough to pay your bills and make for your luxury, you're truly not independent. You don't have a freedom financially, right? So that's why in this book, Matter has brought for us the aspect of growing your money and also enjoying your money, right? It's not just that you're spending the money, but you're growing the money and you're also enjoying the money, And I introduced you all to the 30-70 principle that I have on my blog site. And I put that link on Facebook, on Facebook, and also on YouTube, right? So you could look at one of the series there, and you have a link to my blog site talking about the 30-70 principle. And I can put it on this one also, because you need to have a financial plan, right? Without a financial plan, you cannot grow money and you cannot enjoy money. You need to have your money, every dollar that you have, you must put to use. And that's what the 30-70 principle is all about. It's all about having a plan for your money, right? Because if you don't have a plan, then you're planning to fail, right? If you don't have a plan for your money to get you into a place of financial freedom, financial independence, and you're truly planning not to be financially independent. You're truly planning not to be financially free, right? So that's the whole idea. And here we're talking today on chapter 12, being our fourth session, talking about society. The first week we introduced society. Then we talked about how society affects our earning money, right? And we did that in 3 weeks, because that was divided into 3 parts. We talked about it in relation to education, the media, and government taxes, right? Then last week we talked about how society affects our growing money, right? And we talked about that in terms of the financial sector, financial system, right? Because that's what we use. That's the machinery, as it were, the industry, as it were, that helps us to grow money, right? We don't grow money in our home, not the normal soil, right? The soil for growing money is the financial sector. So you have to know how to input and get output, right? It's input, output. That's how you grow money. And that's what we treated last week. Today, we're talking about how to enjoy the money we're making. The power to grow money is the power that comes from enjoying money, because what you enjoy, you seek a continuity for, right? So if you enjoy money, then you will have the strength to grow money and to earn money, right? So the power, the strength for earning and growing money comes from enjoying money, and that's what we want to look at here. We want to look at how society helps us, how society seemingly limits us, and how we can make the best of what we have, in society to earn money. It's about a SWOT system. We have strengths, we have weaknesses, and the society are opportunities and threats. So we're pretty much looking at the opportunities that are there in the society for enjoying money and the threats to our enjoying money. That's what we're aiming to look at in this chapter. And Matter always starts each of those chapters with an Egyptian quote. And the one she has there for this chapter says, "Yes, it is drunkenness does not quench today's thirst, right? And the corollary that easily comes to mind for me is the Bible, the what we have in the Holy Book, the Bible, where it talks about sufficient for each day is its own trouble, right? I cannot eat enough today that I will not need to eat tomorrow, right? So if I'm going to enjoy money, I have to enjoy today, but not forget about tomorrow, right? I have to make provision for a continuity of enjoyment, right? It's not about enjoying today and starving tomorrow, right? It's continuity, right? It's what we call what's that word for it now? It's a continuity. That's a word for it, but it's not coming to me right now. But the key thing is the fact that our enjoying money needs to be such that it's life-giving, right? It's not life-depleting, right? It's sustainable. That's the word. It's sustainable. It has to be sustainable, right? It's not about eating all our wealth today and having nothing tomorrow. But for us to be truly financially empowered, we need to work towards having a continuity of enjoyment of money, right? Irrespective of what the society brings our way, right? Don't forget, society asks for us what we call opportunities and threats. Ours is to harness the opportunities and ensure ourselves, as it were, defend ourselves against the threat, right? So another corollary of the Egyptian proverb is a general one we're saying financial investment sector. It's yesterday's accomplishment or yesterday's result does not guarantee future success. Because I was successful yesterday does not mean I'll be successful today or successful tomorrow. It's a continuous engagement, right? It's a continuous engagement of the society that keeps the continuity going. It's being able to respond adequately to the continuous changing environment, continuous change in financial sector, continuous change in government taxes, continuous changing of government policies, right? That's what keeps the continuity, right? So we don't rest on our laurels because we're successful yesterday, because the enemy today might just be different from the enemy yesterday, right? So it's a continuous process. So we'll go on to the next slide here. So obviously society, which is our environment, affects every aspect of our lives, right? We are the products of our society, as it were, right? We're the product of our society, right? That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is that our society is our product, right? I love the way Napoleon Hill will put it, right? That our environment, our society, as it were, is a merciless, right, reflection of who we are on the inside. We create our environment, we create our society, right? And that society for each of us is the one within our immediate vicinity, because our level of influence obviously is limited, right? But within the limitation of our influence, right, we create that environment. We decide where we want to be. We decide the things that the way we eat, as it were, affect our environment, right? Again, like I like to say all the time, Peter Drucker would say that the essence of any organism, right, is outside of that organism, not within the organism. Everything that takes place within the organism is to affect its outside, its environment. Everything that takes place in the structure here is to affect my environment. It's what you are seeing. That's what you're seeing coming out. It's what is taking place on the inside here is what you are seeing spewing out right now to affect my environment, to affect my world, to affect my society, right? So there is a continuous interaction between each of us and our society, our environment, right? And really winning is when I determine the way the society affects me, right? Not that the society determines the way it affects me. I have to always be in the driver's seat for my life. Each of us have to be in the driver's seat on our lives, because left to society, it wants to consume us, right? It wants to consume us. And if we allow the society to consume us, we become a failure, right? Life was not meant that way. Life was meant that each of us will impact our society for good, impact our society. We make the decision on what we want our society to be, and we'll go about impacting, changing, influencing our society, right? Our society, as it were, is living, but we are living also, right? But we're here not to be conquered. We're here to conquer, right? But that is the continuous interaction that takes place, then determines whether we're truly going to enjoy, right, our wealth or not, right? So there is a society wanting to affect us in the way we spend, right? And some of those when you talk about the way society affects us, we have different words for it, right? Different terms, different concepts, different names for the concept. One we call about mob mentality, when a group of people just thinking alike and going the same way, right? But typically, when you have things like that, there's no deep thinking. That's one thing that marks such things out. You just find everybody just holding on to the same way of thinking and just going like a mob. You know, when I was in college, I know some of those riots we did. There were those that were on the front line that had no clue why the riot was taking place. All they wanted was the excitement of rioting. You know, I typically talk about an experience I had one time. I was going back to school, and I had someone at the bus station, and he was sharing with his friend, and was saying the only reason he was going to this college, my college, was that those people do not take nonsense, that they riot. He wanted to be a part of the riot. So you can imagine that such a person will easily be carried away by the mob mentality, right? He just wants to belong without thinking about what the ideology is, or just wanting to belong, you know. And a lot of people get carried away by such streams, you know, and they miss life at the end of the day, because it's typically a mob mentality would not grow you, right? Because it's not about you. It's about some other person's ideology or interest that is being fulfilled, right? We also have a word for what we call the ed mentality, the pack mentality, and we talk about groupthink or crowd psychology, right? We talk about following the Joneses also, and and probably other names for it, right? But that is one of the things society wants to do to us. It wants to capture us to be in a mob, not thinking about our individuality, right? Another thing popularly I hear from Napoleon Hill talk about, it's that mentality where that's called the follow the followers game, right? It's just the same kind of concept where people are just following other people who have no clue why they are following, right? And yes, then their life ain't going to be better because they're just doing things because they see every other person doing it. You know, they have no plan, no goal, no vision. You know, they're just marking time. You know, you're not going to succeed that way if that's the way you relate to the society, right? So the society tries to influence us, no doubt, but we need to be mindful of the way in which we allow society to influence us. You know, we need to control that. Control that by having a plan, by having a goal, right? We need to have a vision for where we want to go. We need to have a dream, right? We need to have a goal, short-term, long-term, goals to meet our dreams, our vision, right? We need to have a plan, of attack. When we have this, then we can then use the society to meet our plan, not the society having its own goal, its own vision, and we are just, mesmerized and just following it. That's not the way we're created. And that's not going to lead to success if all you do is follow the followers game. All right, or just be carried away by mob mentality, groupthink. That's not the way to relate to society in a way that will make you financially empowered, right? So, when we looked at chapter 9, we talked about the social economic scale, the socioeconomic stratification, class stratification. And we talked about the three basic ones: upper, middle, lower. But in different climb, some of those three are divided further. We said there was one that was kept for reality in the UK. So those are classifications that also affect the way we spend money, because they define the society, the immediate grouping where we find ourselves, right? You'll typically not find a lower class person living in a place upper class people live. Even within the lower class, it's a spectrum, right? Even though all of them are lower class, they're still higher lower class, middle lower class, lower class, So we have all of this stratification around us, and it gets to affect us in different ways, right? Because it affects our perception. It affects what we think is our status, right? Because those stratifications come also by reason of what we have available to us to spend, right, for enjoyment. It defines the things that are open to us, to enjoy, because it's our capacity. We're limited by what we are making, right? And we could see different people, probably even within our class, but because the spectrum, right, they're probably doing things that we wish we could do. We could either be pulled along with them or define ourselves. One of the things you've seen us talk about reading through this book, which Martha has also emphasized on, it being yourself. That's one of the key things people knew about me when I started working for my present company some 26 years ago. They just call me, he loves to be himself, right? And even though I wasn't that perfect in being myself at that point in time, but I've gotten better at it, right? Through the rough stream of life, I've gotten better at doing it. And even though I wasn't perfect or anywhere near good in doing it 26 years ago, I had the right concepts, right? That's the way God created us all, right? God created us, putting our individuality in us. The key to our financial empowerment, the key to our financial freedom, our financial health, is understanding who we are and using that to excel, using that to engage life, to engage society. We should not engage society with another clothing that is strange to who we are, right? And that also comes when we talk about expenditure, spending, right? I variously shared with you all how I grew up with an inferiority complex, right? And that came from my engagement, as I was growing up, because of the structure in which I grew up, because I saw people that were doing things I wish I could do, but I could not do, But let's welcome Anne in. Hey, Han, how are you doing?
I'm good, Uncle. Good morning. Good morning or good afternoon.
Good morning. Good morning. Let's respect your timing. Good morning. Good to have you.
Yes, thank God.
Yeah,
Sorry,
everyone.
Everyone is doing okay. Sorry, I'm late today.
I know. I understand when I don't see you. Yeah, you have young children, and you have an awesome young man also. Whose birthday was within the week.
No, it's today.
When was it? It was within the week. I know I sent him a greeting.
It's today. It's today. His birthday is today. It's today.
Your husband's birthday is today?
Yeah.
But that's not what's on Facebook. I know that was like 2 days ago or something. I sent him.
Oh, really?
So it's actually today.
Yeah, it's actually
so he has the wrong date on Facebook.
Oh, maybe you have to tell him to check. He doesn't even go to Facebook.
Yeah, I'll check. I know I sent him greetings. No, was it today? Oh, yeah, I think it's probably today. I know I told my wife. Yes, you're correct. I did this about 1 a.m. Yes, okay. You're correct. It's today. Yes, it's today's on Facebook. I already sent him greetings anyway. But
yes, okay. I'll tell him to check.
Let him check, or he doesn't have a check. Just let him know.
Okay, I will.
Tell him I send my love.
I will.
All right, good. All right, we're on to chapter 12 here. Just before I forget, we've already decided on what the next book will be.
Okay.
It's this book, Business is Personal,
Okay.
by Bethany Frankel.
Okay, business
Right?
is personal. Okay.
Yes, by Bethany Frankel. So I have my copy, like you can see. I've not read it yet anyway.
Right.
But I think it's going to be an exciting book to read.
Okay.
It's just going to talk about business. And I love business. I love everything that relates to money. I just love money.
That's good.
Am I a sinner?
No, you're not. I like money too.
So I'm allowed.
Yeah, I like money too, but I'm too lazy.
Don't worry, you get one step at a time. Yeah. So if we can get a copy, that'll be great. I think we'll get to it about the first or second week in October. That's what we'll get there. We're done with this book about the last week in September or so.
Okay.
We have 8 more chapters, which is 2 more months to go.
Okay.
So we'll just chapter 12 pretty much just looks at society. So last week looking at society, chapter 13 will open up another relationship with money. I believe it's emotions. We'll begin to talk about next week. But this is talking about how society affects our ability to enjoy money, right? And in all of this, you can look at it from a SWOT system where you talk about strength, weakness, that is who you are, opportunity, threats. In the society, what we have is opportunities and threats. Who we are is our strength and our weakness. Our ability to engage society, to harness the opportunities that are available in the society is our ability to become financially empowered, financially independent, to be financially healthy, right? As we protect ourselves against the threats that are also there in the society. So you have 2 things in the society: opportunities that are positive, threats that are negative, right? The extent to which we harness the opportunities and defend ourselves against the threat is the extent to which we can become financially empowered, and pretty much, we all are influenced by society. It's pretty much groupthink. A lot of people would love us to be like them, and somehow we struggle not to be like them, because when we're not like them, it's almost like there's a feeling that we don't belong. But life is not lived from the outside in. Life is meant to be lived from the inside in. We all need to know who we are and engage society, our friends, family, from who we are. We don't have to be someone else other than ourselves. Anytime we're someone else other than who we are wearing a different cloak. We're wearing a false garment. We're using instruments that are strange to us to fight battle. And obviously we're going to lose, right? Engaging life to win is engaging life as who we are, irrespective of who we are, right? So we need to know who we are. Am I quiet, loud, introvert, extrovert, whoever it is that you are, right? Not the negative things, but definition of your personality. Whoever it is that you are as a person, you don't have to be someone else, to make it in life. You just have to know you, respect you, know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and engage life with your strength while you defend your weaknesses. That's the way to life. You don't have to be someone else. Once you're trying to be someone else, you're playing a losing game, right? So that affects the way we spend money. We have people that are loud. Great. We don't have to look down on them. Maybe if we're loud also, great for us. Let's work towards being loud. But if you're not loud, then great for you also. Let your plan be towards your being quiet. But just be true, whoever you are, be true to who you are. And let your financial plan follow that, right? Don't be defined by other people's metric. right? There are people that want to have a Benz. If they want buying a Benz is what you have, then have a financial plan to buy a Benz. If Toyota is what fits your personality, work towards it, but don't do it because someone else is doing it. Do it because that makes you happy, that makes you fulfilled, and wait for its time. Don't go before your time, right? You can have whatever you want in its proper timing, right? When you get it before your time, that's when you're looking for trouble, right? I mean, you can have a house, you have a house today. If you want a bigger one, you can have it, right? The question, you just have to plan towards it, have your financial projections that will get you to that place. And don't do it because of what someone else is saying. Do it because it makes you happy, it makes you fulfilled. Once you start doing it because of what other people are saying, then it's a losing battle, right? It's like me here right now. I mean, I'm staying in a flat, not that I cannot afford a duplex or a single house. I can buy one if I wanted to buy one, if that was the reason, if that's what makes me happy. But if I do that, I'll be doing it because of what people would say, right? Just me and my wife. We don't need a bigger house than this. Even this is too big right now, So my staying here does not define who I am, right? It's just what I need at this point in time, right? If I want something big, I can plan for it and work towards it and get it at its proper time, right? Not because of what people would say, right? But because that is what fits who I am. It fits into my plan. It makes me happy. It makes me fulfilled, right? If I get a bigger house, it'll be trouble. Even this one, my wife complains about cleaning it, and I don't want any outsider to come and clean it. I just want to be here with my wife because when I'm at home, I'm in heaven, and I don't want any intruder, So I can imagine if I have a bigger house, I'm going to have an intruder coming to clean, and I'm just looking for trouble, So let your enjoyment be your own definition, right? Not other people's definition, and that's just a key thing talking about that. Yeah, so that's pretty much all of it, unless you have a question around it. Or you want to share something alongside?
No question. The only thing, I mean, the last slide where it says that people's self-worth can be easily intertwined. I can't remember.
You mean this one or the last one, the previous one?
The number 7, that one.
Seven, all right, I'm back to 7, yeah.
Yeah, intertwined with their perceived class status so
yes.
I think that's some of the big mistakes that we sometimes make because we want to be like others. And so and they're so, but I was just talking to my husband the other day about that I want to make more money, and I look at people like everybody's doing IT, right? Most of the people I know are going into IT and they're making more money. Maybe I should go do that, and so it's like I'm beginning to second guess. So I was like, maybe you're a nurse, nurses are not being paid as much as the IT people, but that doesn't mean that it's my self-worth, right? So
yes,
they can do the IT and make more money, but that's not my own path, right? So it's like I began to feel like my self-worth is not complete, right? Because okay, all these other people are making more money than me. They went back they are doing IT, and then now whatever is it that I'm doing is like, okay, it's nothing. But I may not be financially getting my reward, but in cash, right? But in helping in meeting the needs of other people is where I'm getting my reward. So it may not be in terms of money, but it may be in terms of you're helping meet other people's needs. So yourself,
the important thing is your fulfillment,
right?
What fulfills you, right? And that is different for all of us. For those going after IT, maybe that's what fulfills them.
Right.
For you have to ask yourself that question. If I leave what I'm doing now and go do that IT, will I be fulfilled? because it's going to require more time from me. I might not have time for the children. Will I be happy?
Right.
I mean, I'm going to get the money, but will I be happy?
Will I be happy?
So you have to ask yourself, like, if you're going to be happy, great, go after it. But if you're not going to be happy, you're wasting your time. So it's all different from all of us. And the way to make money is not the primary money that makes you rich.
Right.
It's what you do with the money that makes you rich.
I think that's the big thing. Is that we look at the primary money, right? Oh, this person's making 6 figures, and I'm still, I'm not making 6 figures. But you hit the nail on the head by, like, what fulfills me. And for me, I'm like, if I go back to school now, you have to break my head and put the information and seal it, because my mind space at this time is not, it's not about that. It's about raising the boys. It's raising them on being there for them. Azariah is very demanding. It's been there for him, in that there's no way I'm going to be able to fit if I want to study right now. So even if I want to, maybe when he's a little bit older. So you're right. It's like, I think for me, the thing about me is that I know what my fulfillment, I know what I want to do. I'm like, you know what? I just want to rest my body, rest and take care of the boys. So, but when I see other people, I'm like, okay, then I begin to second guess my decisions, right? It's like, okay, I could be making more money and going to lots of vacation, but so you have to know what your fulfillment is, right?
Absolutely.
What fulfills you? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I've been through that. I've been through times when I try to be like other people, but it never works. It never works. And by the time you will come up to it years after, you find out that they are trying to be like you also.
Right.
Yeah. You just see their strength. You don't see their weakness. They're probably crying and don't like it, even though they are making money for what it's so you have to find what works for you. Like I tell people all the time, well, we'll all get there, right? Like I'm going to get there in 5 years' time. I'm going to retire. Nobody's going to stay forever at that job. We're all going to retire, change job or whatever. That is when you can look at your scorecard, right? While you're still in the middle of the sea, it's not the scorecard, right? It's when you get to the end that you now ask yourself, what did I gain? What did I lose? Right? It's a totality at the end of the day. So someone in the middle of the sea, that's not the end of the report card. Everything might be okay. But if the foundation is not standing firm, when the storms come, all that you think it's accolades will all just crumble. Right. Where another person, you're not seeing a big building, but that person is building solid foundation. And you try to hear about that person, and you now see a big building coming out, and you wonder, where did it come from? Right. So it's about getting the principles right. It's not how fast you start. Once when you get the principles right, then it's a matter of time. Things will fall into place. Right. You need to know yourself and be yourself. You need to have a financial plan that fits you. You need to know what makes you happy. You need to set yourself in the right direction. Once you're in the right direction, then speed is not of essence. Right. Just keep on doing the right thing, keep on doing the right thing. Before you know it, everything will fall into place. So again, it's not the primary money that makes people rich, it's the secondary money. Is what do I do with what I get? If I make 6 figures and I spend 6 figures, I'm poor. Right. But if I make 4 figures and I'm able to utilize that 4 figure in such a way that it has the effect of compound interest. At the end of the day, I will have more money than the person that's making 6 figures. Right. And I'll be able to afford everything that I want. It's just a matter of time. Just that I delayed doing it. Yeah. So that's why we'll talk about if you want your life to be easy, they gotta do the hard, difficult things today. Tomorrow will be easy. Yeah. So for you, it's the boys right now, but while doing the boys, then look for what are the things you can do with the little time you have while taking care of the boys. It might be, all right, what's our financial plan? How do we stay fit with our financial plan?
Right.
It might be just time to set all of that in place and be with the little you're getting right now, begin to build the habits around it. Right. So once you have the habit, maybe tomorrow you're able to spend more time to make more money. The habits will not be able to turn around the more money you're putting into it.
Right.
But if you don't have the habits, doesn't matter what you make, everything's just going to go down the gutter.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is having the foundation right. Once the foundation is right, every other thing is a wash.
Right.
Every other thing will fall into place. It's a matter of time.
Yeah. And it's like we're all like most people, like me, I would say most Nigerians, there's a desire to fit in, like it said in this book, that's so strong that most times we just begin to conform to a group consensus, which is true, because I mean, a lot of Nigerians that I know in America now, all they want to do is IT. IT is where the money is. So it's like it's become like a strong desire for us to fit into that group. That's what everybody wants to do now. Everybody wants to go it because there's money, the people are making money in it, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be like that.
Absolutely.
It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that.
The wisdom is, if you see everybody going through something, that's a reason not to go into it.
Right.
It means that they're not thinking. They're just following. They're just following They're just follow the followers game. You need to stay back and ask yourself, what do I really want to do?
Right.
Because everybody going there means that there's a suspect. It's probably going to dwindle. Most probably going to fail. It's a matter of time.
Right.
You need to think more at something that's sustainable.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's a challenge. People have a problem with thinking. It's easy to copy what someone else is doing. So people don't think. It's difficult to think. So they want to see, oh, that's what they're doing. Let me go. Rather than them thinking themselves and saying, all right, what do I really want to do? It might not be popular. It might not be what's reigning. But if the fundamentals are right and it fits who I am, there's no reason why not to do it.
Right.
But typically when you follow other people, the opportunities are probably already taken. You're just scraping the little that's left.
Right.
Yeah. So that comes from thinking through whatever we want to do.
That's true.
Pele, let me let you go. Go and enjoy your husband. Tell him happy birthday.
I will. Say hi to my auntie.
She will hear. All right. Have a great week. God
Okay,
bless.
Uncle. Bye.
All right.